and welcome back to our Apsynergy learning session. My name is Raphael Wulff. I'm the founder of Apsynergy, a leading European-based Salesforce partner, helping businesses and NGOs for the past 2 years. Along the way, I've worked on many different projects for small and large organizations, nonprofits, foundations, NGOs, and during the course of my Salesforce career, I've trained hundreds of Salesforce users, admins, and developers. Today, we're going to learn about debugging Apex, Aura, and Lightning Web Components. Once you have completed your session, fill in the quiz and get your course validated. Make sure to share our content with your colleagues working on Salesforce. It's free. Check Apsynergy Learning on YouTube for additional free content. Now let's get started. Today we are going to learn how we can debug Lightning components. Before we start learning to debug, we will discuss what Lightning components are and how to create them. So let's start our very first topic, which is a small intro for Lightning components. Lightning components is a user interface framework for creating desktop and mobile apps. Lightning components are application components that are self-contained and reusable. Lightning components are simple to create, divide, and integrate with other components, allowing you to create extremely customized pages. Developers can extend Lightning Web Components, allowing new components to be created on top of existing ones, rather than constructing distinct components throughout the application. Now, note that there are 2 ways to create them. Let's discuss what they are. We can create Lightning components either through the Aura component framework or as a Lightning Web Component. Let's take a closer look at Lightning Web Components. Lightning Web Components are based on a modern, lightweight framework created on the latest web standards. It's used to create powerful interfaces without the need for JavaScript or the creation of a library. This functionality makes it fast and simple to use, saving developers a lot of time and work on the web stack. The Lightning Web Components make the Salesforce platform more accessible, easier to use, and versatile. That's where the Salesforce platform shines. Next, we are going to discuss another way of creating a Lightning component, which is an Aura component. Aura components are reusable elements of an application. We can use multiple components in a single application. The framework already includes a set of pre-built components. These components are known as base Lightning components. Moving ahead with today's subject, we are going to discuss Apex debugging. Debugging is important in programming before we move code to production, and there are certain tools you can use to debug your Apex code. Tools that are available in Apex for debugging are Developer Console and Debug Logs. Now, we're going to discuss both tools that are available in Apex debugging. The first one is the Developer Console. The Developer Console can be used to execute an anonymous function. You can use the Developer Console in viewing logs, another way of viewing debug output. Many of your development duties can be simplified by the Developer Console. To see a list of logs, go to the Logs tab. Open Logs in the Log Inspector. The Developer Console's Log Inspector is a context-sensitive execution viewer. So these are the basic things that you can do with the Developer Console. Steps to use the Developer Console are: Step 1, first of all, open the Developer Console. Step 2, open the Execute Anonymous from Debug. Step 3, once Execute Anonymous window opens, write or paste the code, then click on Execute. Step 4, open the logs, and there you can see the detailed output. The next tool which we're going to discuss is Debug Logs. You can use Debug Logs to keep track of what happens in your org. Debug Logs contain information about each transaction that occurs, such as whether it was successful and how long it took. When conducting a transaction or running unit tests, a debug log can record database activities, system processes, and errors. Every time a transaction that meets the set filter criteria is executed, the system generates a debug log. As we have discussed what debug logs is, now let's learn how to navigate debug logs. First, go to Setup, then open the Developer Console. There you will see Execute Anonymous under Debug. Click on that window. Write or paste your code in that Execute window, then click on the Open Log to see your log. If you want to open debug logs through the navigation menu, follow these steps. Go to Setup, type Debug Logs in the Quick Find, and then click Debug Logs. Then next to the debug log you want to inspect, click to view. Next you will find an example of using System.Debug as a method in the Developer Console to view debug logs, which you can see after the video as a code snippet. Alright, let's plow on. Now we will learn about debugging Lightning Web Components and how it can help you. Debugging helps developers to resolve errors in Lightning components. The simplest approach to run and debug a component while it's being developed is creating a Lightning page and your component in it. Then open the Lightning page in your preferred browser and analyze and debug using your preferred tools. Bear in mind you will need to debug the code before moving to production. The next thing we're going to discuss is Enable Debug Mode in Salesforce. This mode makes it easier to debug JavaScript code. The code doesn't minify, making it easier to read and debug. By using this mode, you can be more aware of warnings and errors as it provides detailed output. Enable this mode only if you're actively debugging JavaScript, as Salesforce is slower for users who use this mode. Here's how you can navigate to enable debug mode from the setup. Enter debug mode in the quick find, then select debug mode. You will see the enable box there. Click that and it's done. Moving on to the next way to debug Lightning web components, using Chrome DevTools. Chrome DevTools is a complete set of web development tools. These tools will allow you to debug the component and inspect the component markup. DevTools includes the DevTools menu and Sources panel, which displays the following items when the Sources tab is selected. All files requested from this web page are listed in the File Navigator pane. That's in number 1. The File Navigator's files are displayed in the Code Editor pane. That's number 2. The Breakpoint control bar and numerous tools for inspecting JavaScript are located in the JavaScript debugging pane. That's number 3. DevTools has made debugging a whole lot easier. In DevTools, you can see the DevTool menu and source panel, which displays the items when the source tab is selected. These items are number 1, File Navigator pane. In this pane, HTML, JavaScript, CSS, and other files, as well as images attached to the page, are listed. Chrome extensions may also show up here. Number 2, Code Editor pane. This pane shows the source code. Number 3, JavaScript debugging pane. The Breakpoint control toolbar and numerous tools for inspecting JavaScript are located in this pane. This pane is used for debugging. Let's discuss the navigation to use Chrome DevTools for debugging. Open menu bar on Chrome, then click on More Tools. There you will see the Developer Tools. Click on that, and there you are. While using the Developer Tools, you will see the Elements panel. From there, you can view and change your HTML code. Console panel can be used for interacting with the variables and running the JavaScript code using console log. To debug and view JavaScript files, you can use Source panel. So, above are the basic panel functionalities we can use and perform our tasks. Next, we're going to discuss the other way by which we can debug Lightning Web Components. Debug using breakpoints. A breakpoint is a command that causes a running program to pause at a certain line number so that the developer can inspect variable values at that point in time during debugging. You can set as many breakpoints as you like. Breakpoints have a symbol next to the line number to indicate that they've been set. Moving ahead with the breakpoint example, we will discuss how we can use a line of code breakpoint. When you know the particular section of code you need to view, use a line of code breakpoint. If the code execution is paused, you can debug it by going through it line by line. Keeping track of several breakpoints in different files might be tough. In this case, breakpoints come in handy. Breakpoints allow you to disable or delete line of code breakpoints. Coming to the example of how we can add a line of code breakpoint. To enable a breakpoint, click on the number where you want to add it, then you'll get an option to add a breakpoint. As you can see, we have performed an example where we're getting the value of the variable greeting and printing that value on the console. You will find this code snippet in the course after the video. Thanks for watching Apsynergy Learning Session number 3 about debugging Apex, Aura, and Lightning Web Components. We hope you learned a lot. Let us know if you have feedback and suggestions. This is important for us. You can drop me an email using the site contact form. We're looking forward to helping you becoming an outstanding Salesforce professional. Please share this video with your colleagues and friends using Salesforce, and make sure you visit our YouTube channel and our blog to continue to improve your skills. If you would like to become an Apsynergy content contributor and share free Salesforce educational content with us, just get in touch. Also, make sure you check our library of free Salesforce training to continue to improve your skills. and may the Salesforce be with you. See you next time. Thank you.